Welcome to Brave Healer Productions. It's time to experience what's possible. So, what if one subtle shift changed everything? Welcome, everyone. I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions, where we're helping the world experience what's possible. And here today to help me with that mission are some of the amazing authors of one of our newest books. This one is called Sacred Spaces, Subtle Shifts for Mind, Body, and Home Transformation. This is volume 3 in an amazing series from lead author Colleen Avis. And before I introduce these lovely ladies to you, I want to give a huge shout out to Colleen. Colleen, we wouldn't be here without you. I am so honored and grateful to be in your world. You had a big vision and mission for this book, and it just seems to keep getting better and better and better. And you've gathered around you this stellar group of expert authors who I cannot wait to introduce to everyone today. So big gratitude to Colleen. So who do I have with me in my Zoom room today? Well, Delane White is a Chopra certified meditation teacher and writer for her blog, My Path to Zen, helping people find peace, tranquility, and inspiration in their lives. I have Deanna Mers-Nagel with me. She's a psychotherapist and coach, incorporating psycho-spiritual and metaphysical tools into her consults and courses. And Sherry Wu is here. She's a Chopra scholar and certified total well-being coach. She integrates her expertise in primordial sound meditation, yoga, Ayurveda, perfect health, and chakra dance. Guiding English and Chinese speaking communities, she bridges Eastern and Western traditions, inspiring balance, purpose, and vitality through the dynamic energy of dance and the stillness of meditation. Welcome, ladies. How is everyone today?
Good. Great.
Good. Hi.
Happy to be here.
I'm so happy to have all of you here today. We're going to have a really cool conversation about sacred spaces. Delane, you're going to start the party off today. Take a minute to introduce your chapter and tell us a little bit about the why behind it.
My chapter is chapter 5, and it's Grow Ageless, Not Old. What you can do today, or what you can do now to stay young at heart forever. And I thought a lot about what I wanted to write about. I mean, I've been around a long time, so I have a lot to choose from. And I thought, I want people to quit focusing on the physical age and start bringing it inward and focusing on their internal age or spiritual age. And that's how I feel. I mean, I just feel ageless, and I just want everybody else to feel the same way.
So, a spiritual age, I think that might be the first time I've heard that together. Like, when you think of that, what comes to mind? How do you want to describe that for our listeners?
Well, when you think of your physical age, you have a chronological age, the day you were born. Spiritual age to me is, and I might have kind of maybe not explained that correctly, because I feel like our spiritual essence is ageless. I feel like if you think about it and you just take a moment to stop, whether you're meditating or in your breath, and just stop thinking about how old you feel. Do you really feel an age inside in your heart? I don't. And I think a lot of people don't either. And I figured this out through meditation, but then also through a group of women. I have a Soul Blossom Sister women's circle, and we were talking about age, and it's in the book. And none of them felt their physical ages.
So I love that. I've never felt my age. I pretty much got stuck at 18, I think. But I don't think everybody feels it. I've heard people who are very much feeling their physical age. And really that has to do with, have you taken care of your physical body? Can you still move around? Can you still enjoy life? And those of us who have taken a fair care of ourselves, we're mobile, we're out there, we're doing things, we're enjoying life. I think how much does it have to do with joy to you?
Oh, 100% has to do with joy. And also, just doing what you can, because yes, there's limitations that we all have and people have. My 92-year-old dad broke his hip last year, and he's back to doing all his things, his coffee groups, his card groups. It's just doing what you can and not feeling held back. Um, not focusing on what you can't do, but focusing on what you can do, I think is really important, because there's things that we can all do, whether it's, enriching our lives with books and, you know, connecting with other people socially. And there's a million things that you can do, even when we have physical limitations.
For sure. For sure. I love this topic as a kickoff for the interview today. Delane, thank you for saying yes to this project and for being here today.
Thank you.
Deanna, you're up next. Tell us a little bit about your chapter. Give me the why behind yours.
So my chapter is chapter 12, the Synchronicity Journal, Tracking Clarity for Your Soul's Purpose. And I think the why for me was writing about a a significant loss for me with, with me using one of the very tools I tell other people to use. Like I've 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 used the tool for years, but in this case, the synchronicity piece for me really helped me put some closure around grief that I was having a difficult time with.
So I'm like picturing you at home, sitting with this issue, and the thought going through your head, something like, you know what, I should use my own tool. Like what, So how did that go down for you? Like, you know,
Well, and without telling the whole story, basically, I had a synchronicity moment. So I was in the middle of interviewing somebody for my own podcast who was a musician, and she was telling her story, and there was some there was some synchronous tracking going on as we were talking. Her voice reminded me of Sarah Vaughan, the great jazz singer, and I had had the privilege of doing a workshop with Sarah Vaughan in the 80s. And I found myself longing for that ability to sing, and I've not been able to sing for about 5 years. Um, and so when we ended the podcast, I literally felt like, oh, well, that was nice. There was a little connection there. And she happened to be a musician, but also a music therapist. I got in the car to run an errand, and there was a bumper sticker on the car in front of me at the traffic light that said, I love music therapy. So it was like a neon sign, like, oh, okay, all right, I'm paying attention. And from there, I literally I spoke with her. I wrote in my journal, and that healing process just began to unfold.
so tell us more to, share with the listeners, how do these synchronicities show up for you? There's the bumper sticker for me, sometimes repeating numbers. Give us some more ideas of how these things, yeah, how do they go down?
The repeating numbers are big for me. Sometimes repeating numbers, like again in my car, seeing 444 all around me, in front of me, and on billboard, car next to me. Um, that's certainly a big one. But then sometimes they're subtle. Sometimes they're not obvious. I use Oracle cards, so if I pull an Oracle card for the day and there's a message, I often think, okay, that has nothing to do with my world today. But if I give it 24 hours, there will be a dot to connect. And so for me, when I can see those dots and connect them, it means, you know, I'm paying attention.
I
And
love
if
it.
I'm paying attention, I can be more clear. My soul's purpose comes into focus. So, yeah.
Yeah, and there's the magic, isn't it, in that awareness? Um, Deanna, thank you for saying yes to this project and for being here today.
Thank you.
Okay, Sherry, take a minute to introduce your chapter. Tell us the why behind it.
I'm going to take a deep breath. Hi, thanks, Laura, for having me here. And to me, love is sharing, and sharing is caring. So I look back on my life, I see it has been a dance between external movement and the inner stillness. So through the time when I was the young age, I learned the Chinese opera through the storytelling, and later on turned to dance professionally into the beautiful international ballroom dance and Latin dance. And I learned how to express myself externally. But it was through yoga, meditation, breath work, and the chakra dance and the journaling. I learned how to turn inward. So I wrote a chapter 6 in this book. The title is Embracing the Dance of Life, the Power of Conscious Breath and Somatic Moves. In my chapter, I explore the challenges. I explore how life challenges can be navigated through conscious breath work, and through conscious breath work and journaling and somatic movement. These three tools work together in a physical, mental, and emotional level, helping us deal with processing the difficulties in a deeper and more holistic way. For me as a dancer, striving for success in a national level dance competition wasn't just about outer body expression of sensuality or the perfect technique and connection. It triggered much deeper and more profound. It was all about how the experience brought up emotional turbulence, language barriers, and identity struggles. So I share how I work through these layers using my tool to process my emotion and release negativities. And this helped me to understand why certain situation or experience affected me so deeply. And later on, eventually, I transformed through them. And this is the reason I want to share, because this experience was so vivid in me and holding me back for so long. And I think the conscious breath, deep breath is helping me so much. So I want to share.
You know, competitive performers are on a whole other level of performance, of peak performance, of self-discovery, I believe. Like, you know, you have to dedicate so much of your life, in your case, to perfection. That's brutal. Um, when do you remember a moment where you thought, I better turn inward, or else, what? Like, what was it for you?
Yes, I always think about I want to turn inwards, but unfortunately, in my dancing field, in our dancing world, we have no opportunity. The ballroom dance is a partner dance. So you always practice. You always practice individually for stamina, for your own energy. And you partner practice for your routine, for what the performance, what you try to express and to attract others. So all these occupy you, have no time. But I always found this is a blessing. Before I enter into the stage, I always give myself a deeper breath. And I close my eyes and using my mind's eye, see myself on the floor. And that's the way it can push me forward to moving forward for my career. It's a tough career because the time concern, we have no time at all. All the time we have to do things, work things, and practice things. And the most important thing is the energy level. We have to keep high so it can influence audience to feel our energy. So that kept me very nervous for all my life. And the breathing is the things that really helped me to relax.
Yes, breath work is a profound modality, amazing and powerful. I love that you're talking about it, especially with your connection to performance. Sherry, thank you for saying yes to this project and for being here today.
Thank you, Laura.
Deanna, I'm going to come over to you for this next question. I'll come around to all of you for this, but sometimes this journey that we're on can be overwhelming. And it's difficult to know where to start when you're not feeling so great about things. Share with our listeners a small step, a subtle shift that they can make to help them just start off if they're stuck like that.
Well, for me, that subtle shift happens when the clarity comes in, even if it's just briefly, like I described, seeing the bumper sticker, even hearing this woman's voice and being reminded of Sarah Vaughan and struggling with my own voice. That's like it's like for a moment the blinds were open and I could see. It wasn't like a huge impact at that time. But then when I saw the bumper sticker, I'm like, okay, so this is like the neon sign from the universe. Okay, I get it. And so it's really just taking those sweet, tiny moments and going, wow, okay. It's like your own aha moment in the middle of a day. And if you can train yourself to pay attention to those moments, again, as subtle or insignificant as they may be, then I think that's what can open the blinds wider, open the window wider, open the door.
I think what you just said is important. So I'm going to rewind to it. You got to train yourself to notice. So if I were to play a little devil's advocate with you today on this and say, but Deanna, I don't see any of that. I don't know what you're talking about. I never get those moments. How do you help someone begin to train themselves?
I give the example in the book of buying a new car, buying a red car, and next thing you know, all you see is red cars. In fact, you might just see the car, the make and model that you just bought, and they're all around you. It's not that there are more red cars on the road. It's that you're paying attention.
I like that one. That's a good one. That's happened to me so many times. Ooh, there it is again. There's it.
Yep. Yeah.
I love it. Thank you, Deanna. All right, Sherry, for you, when we're sharing with our listeners today, they might be really stuck. Things feel overwhelming. How do you want to help them just have a start?
I think I will do is explain to them something first. For example, Laura just mentioned earlier, life is a journey of self-discovery. And our life is just always moving, always in motion with unexpected changes. So we have to prepare for it. But where's the tool? And I will introduce the breathing come into it, because the life is offer us the opportunity, is an invitation for us to breathe, to pause, to relax. No, I'm sorry. I want to rephrase that. The life is an invitation for us to pause, to breathe, to move, to reflect, and to grow. So this processing is the whole thing for us to move forward. What we need is time. So when emotion hit hard, strong, and unexpectedly, it's naturally for us to react impulsively and later regret what we say or what we did in our words and our action. So if we take a few conscious, slow, deep, conscious breaths, that can help us, give us an opportunity to pause and to reflect. And sometimes these things will just give us an opportunity to see things more clearly and understand why our feeling is being heard. So this pausing movement is the breathing work. So if we learn how to breathe, then we can slow down. Once we slow down, our mind is clear. and our mind is clear, then we can proceed whatever we want to do with a more clear view what we want to do, what we want to get. So without the breathing, we just rush and rush and rush. That's from my personal experience. For dancing world, it's just a rushing world. You just rush, rush, rush. And the slower I learn how to pause, and the better I feel about myself. So I slowly build up a good connection, stronger connection, and a better relationship toward my true self. So I will explain this to the students first, then help them to work with me how to breathe. Where there's many different techniques of breath work, so we have to go one by one for them to get used to. But the simple one is breathe in, you expand, and breathe out, you relax. So that's the simple things they can start with if they have a very stressful life.
I love it, Sherry. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfect. There's nothing like a deep breath. Actually, the word pause is a good one, I think, for people who are overwhelmed and stuck. What if you didn't have to figure it out, you guys? What if you didn't have to figure it out right then? And all you did was come into your body to take a breath. Like that could be a huge, huge help to the moment that you're in. I love listening to all of you talk about your chapters because these are golden nuggets of awareness. What you're dropping on people today is awareness. And with awareness, we get a choice. Awareness is everything. And it's what I love the most about this book and a lot of our books is the practices of awareness that you all are sharing. Okay, Delane, this question, same question comes to you. You know, we all have our overwhelming days, right? We have some people kind of stepping a toe into the path and they're just kind of starting. What's your advice for helping them there?
Well, I think one of the biggest things I can suggest is just don't give up. Just keep moving forward. A lot of times when we're younger, we're just so overwhelmed with life, whether you're raising kids and working. I went through a divorce, I got married, had a baby, went through a divorce, got remarried. I mean, it's just been, a very full life. And sometimes we don't realize the preciousness of life or have time to pause and just appreciate what life is, or to do things that we really deep in our soul we are meant to do, or that we have a calling to do, because we're so busy with just living. So I just think not giving up on your dreams, just keep moving forward, be a lifelong learner, continue to always learn and grow. And, just when I was young, there was a lot of, you had a path that you're supposed to go on. College for me wasn't an option. It was like, you'll be a secretary, you'll get married, you'll have kids, and that's it. And I had bigger dreams, and it took a long time to kind of recognize that I can do that. I don't have to be put in a little box and just go with what I'm supposed to go with. I mean, I can make my own path. And, sometimes I think from the greatest challenges, we have the greatest growth. And that's what I found. It took me, kind of getting knocked down a few times and just getting back up. And again, just not giving up, just keep moving forward. And meditation has been just an incredible growing experience for me, and really connected me to just endless possibilities, and just that feeling of, yes, I'm growing older, my body is aging, but I still have like infinite possibilities of things that I can do. I still can do anything I want to do. The age is not going to stop me. It's not going to hold me back. So, Yeah, in my chapter, I have like 6 things that I feel helps us to grow ageless and not being stuck, just feeling old or growing old or just having that be the focus. So, um, hope
I love
everyone
it.
reads all of our chapters.
Yes, I hope they all do too. And I have a big thank you to all three of you. Um, you stepped up to my challenge to put a vulnerable story in this book. Thank you for that. But also, it's one thing to coach your clients. You guys do it all day long. It's quite another thing to put it in black and white in a book so that the readers have a real experience with your master teachings. And you all did that so brilliantly. And that is my thank you. My gratitude is for, taking that on and saying yes to that, and then really giving the readers an experience. And I want everybody to know what this book is, because when you think about having the tools at your fingertips, you've got a team there teaching you profound transformational tools in this book. And all of these authors here, all of our co-authors, the lead author, Colleen, we all come together in these expert collaborations with that mission to help you, right? Thank you all so much for doing that. Sherry, we're going to get to this last question for all of you, but Sherry, I want you to really help us with what is the most important thing you want our listeners to know about the conscious breath.
The most important things about a conscious breath is just do it. Just practice it, because there's no way you can gain something without, working on it. So everything is what you get, what you work for. So for everyone, we're all the same. There's no genius, there's no shortcut for you to find the best way to help yourself to embrace, life is short. I invite everybody to find your rhythm and using your tool. Once you found the tool, if you don't know the tool, go find it by the Sacred Space, Volume 3. So you can find a tool, right? So once you find a tool, embrace the dance of life. So you can start to enjoy and celebrate every moment in your life. Just with that deep conscious breath can help everything, because everything's after you give a pause, processing, and time. Thank you.
The just do it message is very important. Because when you practice the tools, you all will see you're going to have an experience that could change your life in one chapter. And we have many for you to experiment and play with. So many things. One of the reasons I love the expert collaborations the most is not every tool is for every person. So we want to give you a lot of different ideas. But I also know that not every one tool works for me every single time. So sometimes I've kind of grown out of that one and I need a new one to try, or, something different. So another reason I love this book so much. Okay, Delane, tell us, what's the most important thing you want people to know about growing ageless?
I think the bottom line in growing ageless, the best place to start is to find inner peace. Once you kind of can silence all the chatter, all people telling you should do this, you should be this, go do that, just blocking all of that out and just going inward and connecting to that inner voice, that spirit, that your most divine self, where you can find inner peace. And then that opens up a whole new world. I mean, it opens up all kinds of other possibilities and helping you to kind of see more clearly what it is that maybe you're meant to do, or kind of remind you of that passion that you had when you were younger that you didn't pursue. So I think that's kind of, if I had to pick one thing, I think that's a good place to start, is just going inward, meditate, breathe, stay in the moment, and connect to that, your inner self and that inner voice.
So if any of you are listening and you don't even really know what inner peace feels like. Like you feel so far from that because your world in your mind is so chaotic or anxious or fearful or all the things that we have going on. I hope I'll give you some hope by telling you that it took me until last year, and I am a young 57 this year, you guys. But it took me until last year to I feel like I touched it for the first time in my life. First time in my life, y'all. And it's not like I hadn't practiced or tried or made an effort to be in the moment. I devoted my whole life to that. But what I will tell you is all it took was a moment. Did it have to take me that long? I don't know. Divine timing, right? Like I trust in the divine timing of the universe. But if you haven't touched anything yet that feels like inner peace, it's there. Just, I'm going to go back to don't give up. I'll go back to take the breath, clear the mind, and track your clarity, Deanna. Let's do that last. So, Deanna, you're going to close us out with this same question. What's the most important thing you want us to know about that tracking our clarity?
Well, a synchronicity journal, I say this all the time to people, particularly in the work I do with students who are trying to expand their scope of service. They want to do intuitive work or psychic work or, coaching, energy work. And I say the best way to increase your intuition is to track your synchronicities. So, and to me, intuition and clarity are they're synonymous. But truly and I didn't come up with that. That was Carl Jung. He's the one that coined the term synchronicity. But it's so true because if you're paying that kind of attention to what the universe is presenting to you, then that's going to pop you open in so many different ways, all the senses and the clair senses as well, the sixth sense, the third ear. So track your synchronicities, even if they seem insignificant. Just try it.
I'm going to make an effort to do more tracking. I pay attention, but tracking. So, have y'all heard of this? What you track grows. So this has to do with what Deanna's talking about in terms of your intuitional power, your connection. It also has to do with money. It has to do with networking conversations. It has to do with anything you're putting your energy, intention, and purpose into, right? It's going to grow. What you track grows. I would imagine all of us want a little bit more clarity and intuition, right? I love it, Deanna. I love it. I love it. Again, to all three of you, thank you so much for what you do in the world, and thank you for being here to share it with everyone, ladies. To our listeners, I hope you gather that this is way more than a book. This is a very generous community of experts who are waiting. Maybe something one of these authors said today gave you the goosebumps. Maybe you have a question, or maybe you want, you need some support with wherever you are on your journey today. Come on down into the show notes because they're all hooked up with their links there, and they want you to reach out to them. They're ready to answer a question. They're ready to help you on the journey. And I'm so proud of this community who is there generously waiting to help you out. You're not alone. Nobody is alone, not in this community. Also, you're invited to kind of rub elbows with our authors because we're having our book launch party coming up on February 21st. It's coming up pretty quick here. So if you're listening to this interview in time, come on down to the notes because I've got you hooked up there with the party invite, and you can join us on Zoom. And we hope you get on over to Amazon and buy the book, y'all. Sacred Spaces, yes. Subtle Shifts for Mind, Body, and Home Transformation. It's ready for your purchase. We want you to enjoy this beautiful book. Lastly, today, everyone, remember your words change the world when you're brave enough to share them. So it is time to be brave. See you next time, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Laura.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.